2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 16 to 23. Let's turn our passage from 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 16. Now as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and whirling before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. And verse 20. Then David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, How glorious was the king of Israel today, uncovering himself today in the eyes of the maid of his servants, as one of the base fellows shamelessly uncover himself. Verse 21. So David said to Michal, It was before the Lord, who chose me instead of your father and all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore, I will play music before the Lord, and I will be even more undignified than this, and will be humble in my own sight. May the Lord bless the reading of this verse. Have you ever been misunderstood for doing the right things? In 2 Samuel, as David rejoiced before the Lord, his wife Michal watched from a window and she saw him dancing and leaping before the Lord. But what did she do? She despised him in her heart. She was raised in a royal formality, and for her, a king means in her mind is someone who looks majestic and composed. The scripture says she despised him in her heart. She could not accept it. So she is waiting for the opportunity to tell to David. And she waited for David to come home. And then the story goes on verse 20. Then David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, How glorious was the king of Israel today, uncovering himself today in the eyes of the maid of his servants. And one of the base fellows shamelessly uncover himself. When Michal says he uncovered himself, the word does not mean a complete nakedness. It likely means he removed his royal outer robe. He dressed simply like a common worshipper. He humbled himself publicly instead of acting like a king. And she accused wrongfully by saying the king uncovered himself. So, what was Michal's real issue? Her problem was the pride in her heart. Since she was the Saul's daughter, raised in royal culture, and for her to king is someone look majestic, controlled, elevated. But for David, however, he removed his royal image. He identified with people and he worshipped along with the people of the Lord passionately. And he put God above all his status. And what did David respond in verse 21? But David answered and said to Michal, It was before the Lord. It is the Lord who chose me. It is not your father chose me. It is not your house has chose me to appoint to be the ruler over the people. It is the Lord who has given me this privilege. It is the Lord who has placed me in this position. And therefore I will play. I will worship the Lord. And I will be I'm even more undignified than this. And I will be humble in my own sight. Michal's problem was not David's dancing, it was her heart. David had power, authority, and status. But before God, David did not see himself as a king, he saw himself as a servant. And this was not new for David. In number of occasions in his own Psalms, he reveals the same heart. In Psalms 8, verse 4, he says, What is man that you are mindful of him? And David understood something very important in his life. Before God, no matter our position, our education, our success, we all stand equal before God. And true greatness begins with humility. And that's the heart that God blesses. And that's the spiritual maturity.